The Indian diaspora is the largest in the world. In 2024, the total number of Indian diaspora is 3.42 million across the globe, across the world. My God, 35, almost 36 million. So number is increasing like anything. So you must be wondering, I'm not providing only the factual information, but we will see to it from different angles. And already I have to non-resident Indians. So there are about 15.85 million NRIs, people of Indian origin. These are about 19.57 million PIOs. So if you add it, it will give you the, and here again, I think more than 110 countries have been reached. So these are the one out of 193 countries. Indians or the presence of Indians are, very important. Why it is important? So there is a need to understand what they are doing, what kind of problems they are facing, and how they are excelling. So we all know about United States of America. They are excelling. They are holding the all many key positions in the political power structure, even in other academics. Everywhere they are excelling, and they are doing so well. So they are also liked. If you see the other sector, other region like West Asia, 9 million, almost 10 million Indians are found there. They are working there. They are remitting a huge remittance to India. So here they are spread in more than 110 countries. So 110 countries is not a joke. I think if you liberally calculate, it will come around 125 or 130 countries are there. So it is the very conservative estimation. So even 110 countries are good enough, and they are working there, they are living there, and they are maintaining the Indian culture, values, and everything. So they work for India. They take the position of here. The question, I think, let me tell you that how we should question on nostalgia of being an Indian. So already I told you that those Indians or any group of the people who have left their motherland, they have nothing to do with that country. They have completely assimilated. But this kind of thing we never find in case of India. Their I think, sons and the daughters, they have heard, and they maintain whatever their ancestors have told them. So in case of that one, so when nostalgia doesn't come, when this kind of thing is not there, so the very already I have told two elements are very important to understand. Diaspora means one is emotional linkage, rerouting means they understand our root is India, our mother, our grandmother nation or the country is India. So what does it mean to be an Indian outside India? So we are going to question. I am raising some sort of question so that we will be able to understand how can culture be preserved without becoming ossified. What are the consequences in terms of a spiritual and the practice of refusing to make concessions to Western ideas and the practice? What are the consequences of embracing those ideas and practices and turning away from ones that come with us? So if you see this thing, who are basically, just I am naming something. Indians have a long history of migration to many parts of the world. Already, it's a common thing. During the middle 16th century, people from Punjab, we all know that Punjabis and Gujaratis, these communities have been found to be very adventurous, let me tell you, all the time. And they have gone to many parts of the world, especially to Canada, United States of America, and many European countries. And today, what is happening? See, in case of, we all know that ye kya ho raha, what is happening? Students are migrating like anything. They are going to Germany and many other European countries, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, for acquiring education. So reasons could be many, but they are going. And we as an academic, we as a researcher, we as an intellectual, must try to understand why it is happening and what are the reasons. And we can also give some sort of policy suggestions, policy recommendations, so that our government, our policy makers can formulate a good kind of policy in order to reap the benefits, in order to understand, or in order to preserve our Indianness over there. Okay, so here, people from Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and cities of Delhi, Allahabad, and Mumbai migrated to Central Asia, Caucasus, and Russia. We all know that because this is the area of my interest. I have been working in this area for more than 2 decades. And there's a seminar which is going on in my university. And very recently, I organized one seminar. I invited your director also. So the seminar was on diaspora migration, uh, how we can tap the benefits. So 180 papers presentations were made. So here, and many centers have been set up in our own countries. They are dealing with this diaspora. So one center is completely, I think, devoted to, I think, culture, language, especially to Central University of Gujarat. Previously, it was in Gandhinagar. Now it got shifted to Vadodara. And in Central University of Hyderabad, there is one center. So what basically here I'm just bringing to your kind notice that these communities, those who have gone there, they are referred as Multanis, and and Baniyas. It was an Indian merchant diaspora. So Levy and many scholars have done their very serious work during the British rule in India. Many Indians made short trips to England and the European countries. India got her independence. Indians migrated to European countries mostly either for higher education or learning industrial know-how. They did not stay permanently. Those who have stayed always kept regular contacts with their families in India. So this is the, I think, linkages with the India, linkages with their families, put them into the category of the diaspora because they maintain material and the emotional link with this India. And you must be wondering, if this is so, what is the good, what is the point that need to be discussed? There is a point. Do you know they are excelling and they are in a very good conditions? They have more knowledge, they have technology, they have money. And here is a country, their mother country, motherland, they need their help. And of course, they also need our help. Means those who have left India, and they are, of course, in a very economically, they are well, but they also need the help of India. So India, they are also looking India to develop and prosper. So here is a connection, here is a potential between the two that both should come together. And here I would like to bring to your kind notice that when the India government was formed in 1999, at that time, if you remember, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the prime minister of this nation, and he constituted one committee. It was called Committee on Indian Diaspora, high level committee on Indian diaspora. Dr. I think late Dr. L.M. Singh was the chairman at that time. Okay, and that committee, it was a high level committee, and that committee visited 110 countries, even more than that. And they identified this, they saw the Indian, what kind of problems they are facing, what is the potential, basically how these communities, how the diaspora, Indian diaspora communities could be engaged here in the progress and the development of India. So a very comprehensive report was prepared, and it is available on the public. It is available in the public domain. So here, the already I have told you that this is the size, and then on the basis of the regional culture and the language in Europe, Indians create their. I think you see here again it becomes very important. So if you see the diasporic community, it is the microcosm of India in the sense that they are also not homogeneous. Means those people who have gone there, they maintain their all these identities, like Punjabi, Bengali, Telugu. So all these things you will see. So it's very important. I think language is also very important in this case. So when there's a question of the Indian diaspora, they always feel a part of it. It is the shared cultural heritage of Indians which lays the foundation for the Indian diaspora. Very important. And cultural heritage, culture, civilization, and everything. So they connect, they still connect with India. And so one scholar mentioned that in recent times, the Indian diaspora has been the subject of great deal of empirical research because of its diversity and the complexity. So understanding India or Indian society is not is a very difficult task, and it is very much required in order, unless until we try to understand the diversity and the complexity, we will not be able to provide the possible solution. So in this globalized era, Indian diaspora has already started during the immigration period to the plantation colonies. So I think I have shown some of the patterns. So what were the patterns? The indentured labor migration. It was the first. Then Kangani or Maistri migration, and then free or passage migration, and then economic migration to the Western world or the North American countries. So it is very, very important. So plantation, we all know that. I think here it becomes very important to understand all these aspects, because unless until we understand, I think we will not be able to place this kind of situation. So back to the roots of the Indian diaspora. So in the beginning of the initial phase, the aim of the association was, so wherever you go, even in West Asian countries or the Gulf countries, I think these all things are very much prevalent. Let me tell you. So here in the beginning of the initial phase, the aim of the association, because wherever they have gone, they have settled down. So they form the social organization, social network. So this is very much there, was to communicate the traditional religion by observing the feast and the festival and reciting. Whenever you go to any countries, I have been, have I have got the opportunity to visit many countries, many European countries, and I found it. And I am also studying at the when I was the visiting professor in the University of Paris. So I studied this and I went to that, I discuss, I see whatever I am saying in our own country. I think same, it is the replication of that kind of things. I found it. Indians in Europe created association with their religious identity. We all know that. So why I am saying these all areas are not much discussed, not much researched. So now it becomes very important to understand what kind of change it has come, what kind of positive points are there that needs to be taken care of. So Indian Diasporic Association, just I am naming the few. Gradually, the associations were extended on a country-wide basis and become the salient feature of the beginning of the phase of the process of ethnicity. Here, with this tangible set of common shared identification in language, culture, food, music, dances, and names, while other roles become very abstract and impersonal. See, if you see the names a little bit, one of the when I conducted the conference here, जब हमने यहाँ conference किया था, that was on 18th and 19th. एक scholar को बुलाया, तो he was a big entrepreneur and academic also. His name was Jagannath, Jagannath. So he wrote it, but we can understand. Ram Dutt. So yeah, pronunciation is different. With some of the words are different. So Ram Dutt is there. So what basically here we are talking that they are preserving. So in this way, Indian community locally created a cultural and social world remained a sociologically very segmented group. So here it becomes very important to discuss all this. The notion of ethnicity and diaspora. The notion of ethnicity and diaspora was not even known to them. Indians were studied as a segmented sociological ethnic group with their structural institutions of marriage, rituals, culture in the varied forms. In Europe, there are hardly any studies on Indian groups. So here it becomes as an academic, as a professor, as an intellectual, as a researcher, who will do this? I think India, many foreigners used to come, they are still coming to understand in India, but it becomes very important to understand them so that we can connect, and connectivity or the linkages between the two could be strengthened. Unless until we understand there exactly, I think lot changes there, we cannot say that not no change is there, but the purpose here is their rerouting or their roots are India, and they feel that we are our grandfathers, our ancestors were from there. So some sort of affiliation, association, and this kind of thing is very much there. So this becomes very important to understand. So in Europe, there are hardly any studies on the Indian group. So we as an intellectual come and to discuss this thing. In Britain, social scientists did research to understand Indian and Pakistani communities. So my purpose to discuss with you that I am to energize you, to motivate you. The purpose of this kind of program is to bring motivation, passion amongst all of us. क्यों कहा? Why I have said that there is a program which is being organized. I think many of you must have attended NEP orientation and sensitization program, so that we could understand the value of this NEP, how this NEP is different from the rest of the previous ones, how it has the potential. In the same way, India is the second largest. Let me tell you, India is the second largest diasporic country. India is a leading country in terms of migration, in terms of the diaspora. So it becomes very important that to understand the different issues, perspective, and the complexity of the diaspora in terms of the language, what kind of language they are speaking, how we can establish the linkages, how we can engage them so that we can come closer, and they have the money, they have everything, and they have the desire also, they have the affiliation also. So how this desire affiliation could be converted into the real sense of the term, so that we could understand each other and we can help each other. So emotional terms of diaspora in Indian languages, just have a look. The emotional terms of Apan log. You all know that. Apan means it's and our cultural heritage, and you all understand. Apan mulk in reality express Indianness. So they speak. If you go and say that yes, I am from India, so this kind of thing will come. So these notions are often used by the PIO community in the Netherlands. I have seen. For second and third generation, India has become a mixture of oral tales heard from parents and their own imagination. One of my friend, very old friend, he is now 88 or he is going to cross 90. Professor Mohan Gautam, who is living, I think again he came to attend this seminar in the month of next month, February. He is again coming to one of the university, premier institution of higher learning in our own country, Banaras Hindu University. He is basically, sociologist and anthropologist. He has done a lot of work over here, and we have also we have discussed with him in great details about that. So how his sons and the daughters are a little bit different, and they used to speak very good Hindi, not exactly, but beyond that we cannot expect. Like Indian diaspora, India has become a land of imagination. The identity has been advocated by associations, religious centers, and the friends. I think you all know that identity is misused today in this world. How it could be put into the right perspective is very important, because we cannot see assimilation. If you wish to assimilate or any society, you all know that little tradition and the great tradition, many things are there, so we cannot eat out what is written in this NEP also. I think Hindi is our national language, or that is, but at the same time many regional languages, even Punjabi or Odia, and then even Bangla or Malayalam, they, it has been clearly said that how we can strengthen our local language, how primary education could be imparted in the local language or the regional language. So national language is important. At the same time, every language has the same way. Identity is very important. Nobody is willing to leave his or her identity, and association, all these are there to maintain. So giving this kind of today, one thing which is emerging in a very big way is diaspora tourism. And people are coming, these people are coming in a very big way as a tourist. Several scholars have termed this homecoming. Homecoming, I think you must have heard about क्या है? लोग कह रहे कि migration, reverse migration. Reverse migration is happening over there. So here, if you see, several tourism scholars commented on the role of nostalgia in tourism behavior. I think Cohen and many scholars have mentioned, and the other mentioned the term nostalgia was coined by Swiss physician in the 17th century. However, scholars have given a various definitions of nostalgia. Nostalgia, culture, identity. According to other scholars, nostalgia is a painful desire to return home. You and also other comment nostalgia from this word has come from nostos, return home, and belonging is a longing for home and no longer exist or has never exist. Advantage of this, again, I think this becomes very important to discuss over here. The first, what are the advantages of diaspora tourism? People are coming, Indian diasporic people are coming over here, and we all are welcoming, and we all are expecting that yes, something would come, some positive would come. So it is not necessary as a seasonal or international tourism. It may require a balanced use of infrastructure throughout the year and provide employment opportunity in off-peak season. Second, diaspora tourism. See, today I think every country, every nation is devoting as how to develop its own economy and society is very very important. Diaspora tourism may result in the geographic expansion of tourism within the country. Diaspora tourists reach less visited sites than do other international tourists by traveling to see friends and the relative, participating in cultural and sports events, and visiting secondary or regional sites. Okay, so I will go a little bit further. You must have heard today medical tourism that has been coming in a very big way. So national tourism campaigns that reach our country. If you see that there's a ministry, there's a department that is promoting, and we stand nowhere. So we have a lot of potential. India has a lot of potential, and here I would like to bring to your again notice, we have a very great vision, that is Vikshit Bharat or developed nation, and that time is not far off. So we need to develop our economy in a very big way or in a very fast manner. Then we will be able to achieve that. Take the example of higher education. So higher education is really relegated relegated to the background. So here many industries have been coming. Of course, it was the time of pandemic that this tourism was completely standstill, but now it has taken up in a very big way. So here, national tourism companies that reach but do not necessarily target diasporas promote their country's medical infrastructure as well as the competitiveness of their prices. So there is a need to take care of. Business tourism by diaspora groups or individual has a strong development potential. No doubt about the conference facilities and top hotels are marketed directly to diasporic business people and professional associations. So here, long-term visit can also involve mix of diaspora and investment, retirement to the homeland, seasonal migration of seniors from the north to western climates, and building up second home for prolonged visit, all under these categories. Heritage tourism. So why I am highlighting there's a need to work. These are the potential areas for research. And in the higher education, in national education policy, it is clear that we are not nowhere, and we need to develop our economy at the very faster rate at 10 9 to 8 to 9%. Then we will be able to achieve the target of the Viksit Bharat or the developed nation. So tourism, we need to develop the tourism, and here is a who will be attracted if these diasporic communities are saying that yes, our forefathers and we have had a very uh, good country from where we our forefathers have been originated. So it becomes very easy to attract them. It becomes very easy to attract them, to understand their language, to connect with them becomes a very important. Heritage tourism centers on history and culture. While the term usually refers to cultural heritage embodied in historical and archaeological sites, arts, festival, and pilgrimage. And then Indian diaspora tourism and the movies, the sense of belonging that Bollywood films. You all know that what kind of tahalka has made by these movies. We all know that our movies, Bollywood movies, are liked by everywhere, especially the diaspora community like these movies like anything. Security. Bollywood is one of the things that binds us together as Indians. Never mind where we live. Very important one. I think there is a study. I have just taken out some of the important statements, some of the important things, so that I could put it before you. So this is the I see even Bollywood movies is not only binding the outside, even within the country. See, I think the role of Bollywood is a very crucial in order to unify in terms of the language to entire. I think Hindi is being spoken, Hindi is being understood in every part of our own country. Leaving politics apart, I think within the boundary of our own nation, everybody understands, almost everybody understands over here. And the role being played by the Bollywood or the film or the movies is unmatched. Let me tell you, the Indian motion picture industry produces 1,000 movies a year, and it is liked, it is shown, it is screened everywhere. So they are creating this kind of issues. And just for your understanding, इसको फिल्म को फिर आप दोबारा you can see and you can review this film. I think 1995, you all know that, I mean, it was a huge hit movie. All these movies are huge hit. Pardesh, 1997, 19, DJ, and then in 1998, and many movies have been created, stir. So these very important producer and the directors were there, that has been written. And what are the locations? See, and it is liked by each and everyone. So what is the impact of Indian diaspora on Bollywood movies, and why I am talking? So taking the culture, taking the identity, I think there's a need to work, there's a need to see, समझने की बहुत जरूरत है, reflecting Indian diaspora in Bollywood movies, how it is being reflected. I think this is very much. Many top directors of the Bollywood have mentioned they now make movies for the affluent Indian diaspora. Take it because they have money, they are very rich. Wherever they are very rich, and they make this. And in this movie, the large-hearted will take away the bride. This movie is, since you all have seen, so I'm just to narrate the story how this Indian diaspora is important. And since time is short, otherwise I could have discussed with you what kind of connection between the other. But I will strongly suggest you that many reports relating to high-level committee on Indian diaspora is available in the public domain. And here is the area that needs to be researched, that needs to be studied very deeply, so that we can connect, we can influence, we can not only influence, we can engage them. And for academia, like you all, I think there's a need to have the MOU between the university of them also. So NRI university has been established, and your time is not very far off. Let me tell you, many foreign universities are coming in a big way to our own country, and we have a very stiff competition. So we all should be ready enough so that we can face the challenges created by that. So the in Pardes, foreign country, the tagline of this movie is American dreams but Indian soul. It is a story about relationship, a story about diaspora's pain of missing their home. So I think this is very interesting. And again, I am suggesting you to see this movie and find all this, all this. So I have given how many? Five film that is basically connected or to lure, to attract, or taking the cognizance of the people. So here, as I said to you that we will discuss for that. I will have some more time. Nostalgia trait and heritage tourism can involve diaspora population in town transactions and ease the integration of their homeland economies into the increasingly connected global economy. Second one is helping diaspora to maintain their ties to the country of their origin or ancestry. It is important. The government or the societies of those countries would be well advised to cultivate these interactions and donor to assist them in doing so. This is very important. And if we want to effectively use the diaspora, means diasporic or the Indian people, in its favor to enhance its visibility and footprint across the world, it must pay increased attention to it and provide more facilities and opportunity for its members to contribute the nation's growth. National, as I know that we have a big challenge, we have a big dream, we have the great vision. Let me, in order to realize this, it becomes very important. India's aspiration to become a global power, the expectation from diaspora will also increase. Yes, it is increasing, and how it can be concretized. And again, I am repeating how we are going to play our role. There's nothing wrong in learning from the existing good examples from other countries in this area. India needs to creatively use its civilizational values, culture, and inherent soft power to become a great power with diaspora support. So diaspora is being today, see, military power and the other power which is called as soft power. So in diplomacy or in bilateral relation, diaspora become as a soft power. So I think it has become the cardinal principle of our foreign policy. I think if you see the our foreign policy and domestic policy, it becomes very difficult to demarcate where our foreign policy starts and where our domestic, because and that is again in a very good, I think both should be connected together. We cannot make the separation between the foreign policy and the domestic policy. Both are for the national interest, for serving the national. So language as a whole is going to play, I think, see, if you see the movie, if you see all these things, I think the role of the language, the role of literature is very important. So in order to attract or in order to engage the diasporic community, and they have a lot of potential, let me tell you, since already we know that they have made us proud in the sense that India is getting a lot of remittances. India has become the first country, leaving China or any country of the world far behind. And you can understand the importance of the remittances. Remittances is being used in order to eradicate poverty, in order to resolve the unemployment, in order to uh, bring equality amongst the gender. Those social categories, those social group or socially disadvantaged of the group are left out. I think it is being helped to bring them at par with the other social category. So it is being played. So our language, our culture, how we can preserve, at the same time we can prosper and we can shine, and we can feel proud of our great nation. So here again, I think, as I said to you, that I will give you enough time also for you to discuss the thing, and then I will be extremely happy to answer your question.
सर नमस्ते.
जस्ट ए सेकेंड, एक मिनट दें आप मुझे पहले. इसको सोच रहे हैं कि हम इसको डाउन कर दें. एक मिनट दीजिए प्लीज. इसको हम चाहें कि इसको कहाँ से हो. दिस इज ओके. आई होप हमारी आवाज जा रही है.
हाँ सर आ रही है.
हाँ सर आ रही है.
यस
यस
सर.
सर, यस सर,
इसको हम चाह रहे हैं ना कि इसको डाउन कर दें, वैसे और कुछ भी नहीं.
sir, thank you. It was a great lecture, and
यस यस
I
प्लीज,
have
यस. आप बताएं प्लीज. हम तो चाह रहे हैं कि डाउन
sir,
क्यों नहीं हो रहा. हम चाह रहे हैं कि इसको बंद करें यहाँ से.
sir, am I audible?
यस, यू आर ऑडिबल. आपकी बिल्कुल बात सुन रहे हैं हम वैसे, लेकिन हम चाह रहे हैं कि इसको
Sir,
डाउन कर दें.
yes sir. First, you do what you want to do, then I'll speak.
हाँ, जस्ट फॉर ए मिनट. आप एक मिनट दे दें मुझे प्लीज. इसको आई डोंट नो, सम टाइम्स यू नो प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है ना. हम चाह रहे हैं कि इसको एक मिनट बस.
Sir, your presentation has stopped.
ये हो गया ना, ये इसीलिए तो नहीं हो रहा. वैसे हम तो यही चाह रहे हैं कि ये बंद हो जाए.
No, your presentation has stopped. It's okay.
ओके, इट्स ओके. चलिए ठीक है.
Yeah, yes sir, yes sir. It's I'm Shivanand Hiramat from Karnataka,
यस प्लीज टेल मी.
and very happy to be part of the honorable professor like you and yours lecture. And my simple question is, I don't know whether LM Singhvi's report on diaspora,
या
kindly throw a little bit light on that, what it exactly studied, and would it be fine to have a subject for the research in future? Will we get from that?
I think
That's-
you will get some data for that. I think data is good enough, and many more commentaries, many more literature is available other than that one. But it would be a masterpiece. It would be very interesting. You know, it is the high level committee on Indian diaspora, so it's a very authentic. Let me tell you, the report. So we must use that report for our further study. I think it would be the monumental in the sense that It was submitted in 2000, yes, 2001 or 2000. So committee was constituted way back in 1999. So after 2 years, it was submitted. It's a very big committee, high level committee. So I think policy, diaspora policy is for entire diaspora policy is formulated. And before that, there was no any kind of as such policy. But we started talking about the importance in academic circle. We started talking about diaspora, importance of diaspora. And let me tell you, when we saw the success of the Chinese diaspora, which is called as trade diaspora. And already I have shared with you that in case of China, I think 45 million Chinese are working either in Southeast Asian other countries or even European and American and the other North American and many other countries. And their economy is greatly contributed by the Chinese diaspora. They have had their business, but in our case, I think majority of them are labor diaspora. And when we say that they are labor diaspora, labor in economic parlance, we all understand that any whether professor or highly skilled or any, they all put into the category of that one. So I think everything is being decided or policy have been decided on the basis of the high level committee on India. All the facts, figures, everything has been 110 countries at that time, and 25 million Indians were found according to that. But the number is increasing every year. So from 2001 or 2002, it was only 25. Now it has gone beyond 35. So more than 10 million people, Indians have been added over there. So it's very interesting. And sometimes we make the distinction with international migration and then diaspora. And there's a difference between the two. And in this very fluid situation, very complex situation, in the very globalized, I think mobility and migration has become very, very important. So we must take, India is a very leading country. India is being benefited on account of diaspora. But the whole idea is that unless until we try to understand the different aspects of this diasporic community, their language, whatever change, and their aspirations, their everything, I think we will not be able to connect. That is the whole idea. And I thought that I think, and people of language and literature is supposed to be all rounder. I am sure that you all are the all rounder. You study not only the language, but you try to understand the society, polity, economy, everything. Sometimes what will happen after 20 or 30 years down the line. So imagination and everything is very much the part and parcel of the language and literature. So I got this opportunity, and I thought that yes, I should at least discuss with this diaspora how preserving identity and the culture and civilization, how it is being preserved, and what we can do it in this area, and how the whole idea is how we can connect them with, because this is non-stoppable kind of thing. It is going to happen. So we have the potential, we have this everything. So here is, and in this globalized interconnected era or the world, I think interdependence becomes very important. So how we can take the benefit out of that when, and in the same way how we can help them out also. Not, it's a two-way process, it's a bilateral kind of thing. They have the money, they have technology, they have everything. India is the most fertile ground. So for that, language, literature, everything becomes very important to connect them, to come closer to them. Then we will. You must have heard about OCI and then PIO. Many things are there, and many privileges have been given to them. So now, ideally speaking, I think those who are interested to be given the Indian citizenship or equivalent to Indian citizenship. So every year, I think on 7th January to 9th January, when I think Mahatma Gandhi, you all know who is the father of this great nation, when he came to when he returned to India, when he got back to India from South Africa, and he is considered one of the great Indian diaspora. So when he came and then he changed the total, I mean, political contours of India when he came in 1915. Yes, I think 7th Jan, he got back to India and he led the freedom struggle movement. We all know that. So he is considered to be the one of the greatest Indian diaspora. And when we talk of the five patterns, I think indenture, but he went to South Africa under the free passes. So if you talk of indenture, I think let me stop and then I think I will discuss with you thereafter. Uh,
Yeah, sir. Thank you.
I should
As
take up the question, and then if you need, I can elaborate indenture, then Kangani, and then Kangani, Mastery, free passage, and then economic migration or voluntary migration, and then the labor. Last but not the least one is labor migration to West Asia, which is to our extended neighborhood. Yes, please.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you, sir. I have three questions. In fact,
Yes, please.
am I audible, sir? Yes, sir. So,
I'm hearing.
they have three, four terms. There is diaspora, NRI, PIOs, people of Indian origin, and reverse diaspora.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a little bit confusing, particularly diaspora, NRI, or PIOs. What is the exact definition?
Let me
How we can
explain.
define
I
all
have
of
got
these
your
three
question.
terms?
I have got your question. Let me explain it to you. बहुत ही अच्छे से बता दे रहे हैं. देखिए, many words are there. It is sometimes it is confusing. Diaspora. First, let me try to make you understand about, because the precursor of diaspora is migration. Migration has also many dimensions. When migration takes place within the country, it is called internal migration. And you must have heard about immigration, EMIGRATION, immigration. So it is equivalent to outflow of migration or outflow of the labor, outflow of the people. So it is called immigration, EMI. When we talk of immigration means inflow of the people. If the people are coming, if some foreigners are coming to our own country, so from this perspective, we will say in immigration, IMMIGRATI, immigration. When Indians are going to West Asia, so from here we can say EMI, immigration. Okay.
Okay.
And international migration, when the people cross the border or the nation, it is called international migration. So now in this situation, we also call transnationalism. He is transnational or global desi. We call it global desi, global citizen. So here, when we talk of, let us come to the point to which you have raised, is NRI and PIO. As I told you that these are the two aspects, okay, of the same coin. Means if you are taking diaspora is one aspect, is the thing in the larger picture. It is the two sides. As I am saying, to make it rather more clear, 35 plus Indian diasporic communities are there. So they all are not, I think some of them are NRIs, non-resident Indians. So this is the definition of NRIs. Means those Indians who are not living in the country for 6 months or beyond, they are working, they are living, they are working, they are employed in other parts of the world. They club as the NRI, non-resident Indians. Those Indians whose grandfathers, whose father, or whose have subsequently acquired the citizenship of the host country or the country where he or she has chosen. Uh, uh, their granddaughters or their progeny is no longer holding the Indian passport. But in case of NRI, they are still holding the Indian passport. Okay, but more than 6 months. That is the definition. They are living in other country for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, like that. So NRI, the very literal meaning. So persons of Indian origin, their grandfathers, their great grandfathers used to migrate, or they migrated from. Take the example of Uttar Pradesh in Jaunpur or Azamgarh, or some places like that. People have migrated. So when I think these five patterns, if you see, I think you know that when the British Empire uh, came into being in India, so in India was structured into four I think big princely estates, or the estates. Presidency, four presidencies were there: Bengal presidencies, and then Bombay presidencies, and then Madras presidencies. So this kind of situation was there. So people migrated, and you all know that there was a famine that took place, and at that time, before that, there was a prosperity was there, means power handloom was there, but handloom was replaced by the power loom. It led to unemployment, and in addition to famine, so people were forced to migrate to other British colonies at the time. So they opted to go to Kenya, Tanzania, Fiji, many more countries opted there, because at that time, coincidentally, the slavery was abolished. When slavery was abolished in that British colony, so there was a need of manpower, there was a need of labor. And here is a place, and that you all know that this is the very nature of any migration, that people migrate from adverse place, and where there's no job, where there's no adverse situation, if adverse situation, people migrate from that place to the better position for their livelihood, to earn something like that. So indenture was by and large the same slavery at that time. So if I start discussing this indenture, it to take at least 6 7 hours. So what I will suggest, you study this thing, and these are the areas. Kangani means the people or the Indians who migrated from Bengal presidency to Eastern African colonies of the British at that time. It was in danger because it was very torturous. You went under that system, and the system was very extremely rigid. You cannot go anywhere. You had to work at the very lower wage. But again, there's a boon in that one, in the sense that after serving, it was very rigid in terms of the time. It was also very poor wages were there. So a lot of literature is available. So those who are interested to study can have the interest in this area, can study this thing. Lot of literature is there. If you take this and Kangani and Kangani and Mastery, I think from Madras presidency, people used to migrate from, because again due to unemployment and then famine, people migrated to Indonesia, Singapore, then Malaysia. I think again it happened, and it was the system Kankani, means Tamil. It's a Tamil Kankani, or that system was prevailing at that time. So this is again very important. But other than this, economic migration, it all took since independence or the 50s. People went, highly skilled labor, highly skilled people migrated, Indians migrated to European society or European countries, and the North American, Australia, Canada, and then New Zealand. I think this happened. So taking these kind of points, I think this becomes very important to understand. So at the very glance, I have just tried to wrap up with this. So if you have any question, I will be extremely happy to take up your question.
Sir, sir, I have
Sir,
one
actually,
question.
ma'am, Poonam ma'am, please, My doubt is not clear yet.
Tell me, please.
Sir, actually, my doubt is, and my
Hmm.
question is,
Hmm.
what is the difference between a diaspora and the term NRI and
Okay.
PIOs? Actually,
I
as
am
you said,
just narrating. Uh,
yeah, this is not answered yet, sir.
Okay, I'm just let me give you a minute, then it will be clear. Both are the part of if you are taking Indian diaspora. Understand my point. Indian
Yes, sir.
diaspora, within the Indian diaspora, these are the two aspects. Will give you the clear picture of Indian diaspora. Means when you add NRIs with the PIO, then it will give you the real picture of the Indian diaspora in a statistic or in mathematically speaking. Otherwise, you sometimes it is NRI is interchangeably used with the Indian diaspora because they are the part. They are the part of the Indian diaspora. But if you see Indian diaspora I think here it has been just have a look. I think it will be clear. Just a minute. 30. Indian diaspora of about 35.4 million people is spread across 110 countries, makes an interesting subject of the study. Okay, got this point?
Yes, it is there, but
Okay,
these
just a
terms are
minute.
not clear.
Eh? I'm just
These
giving
three
the.
terms are interchanging.
Eh? No, we
Either all these three terms are same or can be replaced with each other.
no, you can see. The difference between the two is only in quantity. Means NRI is used as the Indian diaspora because they are the part of the Indian diaspora, not fully. I think persons of Indian origin. Okay, the definition of the persons of Indian origin is that their grandfathers, their father have gone there in a particular country, they have acquired the citizenship of that country. And the person to whom you are calling a diaspora is the son or the daughter of that person. So obviously, it is the part of citizens of that nation. And here, in case of NRIs, they are still Indian in the sense that they are still holding the Indian passport. Got my point? And here,
Yeah.
in numerical sense, we see that what is the size of the NRIs and what is the size of the people of Indian origin. And if one wants to understand the what is the size of the Indian diaspora, you need to combine both. Means NRIs. Take the example of the Gulf. Got my point? And 9 million Indians are working there. Okay. But there is also some Indians who have gone there with the passage of time long back in 16th century, and they have acquired the citizenship of that country. So if you wish to really try to understand, you need to add both the figure, how many APIOs and how many NRIs. So majority, 99% of the Indians are NRIs, but there are some who is also the part of that one, and those who are called as the PIO of persons of Indian origin. They are no longer officially speaking or legally speaking is Indian citizen or the Indian, but their fathers were happen to be the Indians, but they have migrated, they have become the part of that country. So if you wish to understand, Indian diaspora means combining both together. If you add both, will give you. But sometimes people use NRIs, Indian diaspora, PIO, Indian diaspora. So that is the only difference. I am sure that you have got it.
No,
Clear
sir.
here?
Actually, no, yes, sir. Sir, then what is the difference between NRI and PIOs? Then both comes in the same category.
Oh my God. Oh, to feel इसका मैं I'm just trying to both you can see. I think Indian diaspora you have seen. Take the example, I'm hypothetically speaking, United Arab Emirates, UAE. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you want to calculate the volume of the Indian diaspora in the UAE, so here you say that 3 lakhs Indians NRIs are there, but there might be possible that some Indians have gone long back to the UAE and they have integrated, they have acquired the citizen of the UAE long back in medieval
Yes,
time
sir.
and whatever. This kind of thing is there. So if you wish to understand the total size of the Indian diaspora or the volume of India, you need to add 3 lakhs plus 15 or 16 or 20, whatever. So it will become 3 lakhs 20, like that. Got my point? I'm just saying arithmetically.
Uh, Yes, yes, sir. I got to your point. I think what I got that the people who has left India and they log back and they made their own community there in other country. They are called diaspora. They made their own community,
Yeah.
and the people who are also who had also gone out of India and they became the citizen of another country, then and they have Indian citizenship equally. They are NRI, isn't it, sir? And
Yeah.
people
Yes.
of Indian origin, these people don't have the Indian citizenship. They are the PIOs. That's what I got from you, sir.
Yeah, that is the point. Yes, that is the point. But their fathers happened to be the Indian, or they were
Yeah,
holding
their
the Indian.
fathers. Yes, sir. Their fathers happen to be Indian. It's okay, but this is the only minute hairline difference between
Hairline,
diaspora,
yes, hairline.
NRI,
See,
and PIO.
sometimes, yeah, you now you have got the point. Sometimes have some people have the reservation that we cannot call Indian as a Indian
Yeah,
diaspora. There is a controversy. There is an ideological problem. So this terminology has been only created for the Jewish people. People say that. I think it should not be used for the Indian people. So this kind of situation is there. No point. I think no. I think this is a very important point. But arithmetically, I tried to make you understand. Got my
yeah,
point?
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir, yes, sir,
okay,
got it.
thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Now it's clear, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, a lot, sir.
Thank you so much.
Sir,
Thank you
I
so
have
much.
one
धन्यवाद
question,
सुजान सिंह
please.
जी
Thank
जी
you,
पूनम
thank you,
मैम
ma'am.
बस we will stop here because the next session is about to begin and the sir has already
Oh,
joined with
yes,
us. So we
yes.
really thank Professor Anisur ji for joining with us, and
Thank
it was
you
really a very
so much.
thought provoking, very touching,
Yeah,
touched upon so
I
many
tried my
aspects.
level best.